In the previous lesson, we learned about how to do the email process automation for Outlook. Some people may ask a question: is it possible only with Outlook? What if my email is Gmail or any other custom email provider? In today's lesson, we learn about how to create an universal email processing bot using IMAP. IMAP is the protocol which powers almost all the email services in the universe. And as a first part, we have to do some setup in our Gmail so that we can read the emails from our Gmail account. Let us look into it. For us to learn how to access Gmail, I created one Gmail account called 𝗪𝗲𝗂𝗏𝗡82@gmail.com, and I can log into it using this Gmail ID and password. In the inbox, if I see, there is one email which is coming very frequently from 𝗪𝗏𝗂𝗏.com, and I don't need this email. I want to move this email to some other folder, or I want to delete these things. How can I do it? But when you are accessing the Gmail in Power Automate Desktop, it won't allow if you are using our regular password. Why? Because Gmail has disabled accessing through Power Automate using our regular password. Instead, you have to enable the two-factor authentication if you have not already enabled. And we also need to create an app password. Only with that password, we will be able to access the Gmail. First, let us learn how we can create the app password. First step for it is to ensure whether we have enabled the two-factor authentication. Many of us may have already enabled the two-factor authentication, but then also let us verify it. For that, you need to use an URL called myaccount.google.com/security. If I open it, we go inside. In the security and sign in section, you see two-step verification, and in our newly created Gmail account, the two-step verification is off. Let me enable it. I go here. You may need to use your password. You need to log in. You may be asked to verify your passcode. I got my passcode. I enter it. And inside the two-step verification process, if you go, you have an option to turn on two-step verification, and you need to enable it. So we have the first step is completed. Our two-step verification is enabled. Now the next step is to create the app password. For that, you need to go to another URL called myaccount.google.com/app_passwords. If I go inside, this also you may get a verification code. You need to confirm your phone number. I got a verification code. I'm entering it. Once you are validated with your verification code, it comes to the app password screen where you can create the app password by giving an app name. Let me just give an app name as PAD, and let me just create one. It has provided a password. The best practice is to copy it, save it in your desktop as a notepad file or whatever way you like. Now the app password is created, and you can use it to log into Gmail in your Power Automate Desktop email flow. Let's see my Gmail inbox. In my Gmail inbox, there is one email which is repeating. That is coming from a person called Eric. I want to read all the emails from Eric and move it to a separate folder called Eric. But in Gmail, you don't have a separate folder, but you can do a label. Let me create a new label called Eric, and all the emails from Eric, I want to move it here. Let's see how we can do it. Let me open my Power Automate Desktop and create a new flow and call the flow name as Gmail Automation. And I'm not enabling the Power Effects for it. To read the Gmail or to read any of the IMAP based emails, we will be using this action group called email, and we'll be using the retrieved email message action. We need to configure few things. We need to configure the IMAP server, the port, the username, and the password before proceeding to anything else. The IMAP server for Gmail is imap.gmail.com. And the port we can leave it as 993 because that is the standard port used by many of the IMAP email providers. And the username, you need to use your Gmail account or the Google account. In our case, it is 𝗧𝗿𝗂𝗏@gmail.com. And when it is coming for the password, you need to be very careful. You have to use the app password which you have created a short file. I have saved my app password in a notepad and I am copying and pasting the app password. All the emails we are going to read are going to be saved in a list called received emails. Now let us work on the email filters. From which folder I want to read the emails? I want to read it from inbox. And I want to read all the emails. And I don't want to mark the emails as read or unread after processing. And the from field, we need to filter based on whichever the from address you want to read the emails from. In my case, it is from Eric. Let me hide this email ID so that we can protect his privacy. And you can also filter based on the two fields, the subject and everything. We will just give the subject alone. I seen one email in which says senior consultant. I am going to read all the emails in my inbox which are coming from Eric with the subject called senior consultant. I don't have any attachment in it and I don't want to save also. If you are going to say save attachments, then it will ask you in which folder you want to save. I am not going to save it. And here is a list of IMAP configuration. And once we have done, our flow is ready to read the emails from Gmail. So we need to figure out how many emails are there from Eric with the filter what we have provided. How can we do that? We will just use the loop function. We will use the for each and we are going to look at the received emails. Let me call it as current email items. If it has read, for example, 10 email items, everything will be stored as a list in the received emails. And when we are doing the for each loop, one by one, it will read and it will assign to the current email items which we can process. The first thing we are going to do is to figure out how many emails are there. For that, let me just initialize a variable using the set variable function and let us call it as number of emails and at the beginning it will be 0. And every time an email is processed, we will increase the number of emails variables by 1. Let me choose the number of emails and we are increasing it by 1. Once everything is processed, we are just going to display the user about how many messages are there. For that, we are going to use the message boxes and use the display message action. We give the title as number of emails and give a small text. The number of emails received are, just add the number of email variable which we have incremented. And I'm going to keep the message on the top and press save. Now our basic flow is ready, which reads the email, processes it one by one, and increments a variable and displays a message. Let us run and see how it works. So our flow has run and it has found that there are 2 emails from Eric which is having a subject called senior consultant. Okay, now that we have read, now I don't need this filter. I'm just going to the email filters and I'm going to remove this filter. Now if I run once again, oh, number of emails received are 25. So our Mr. Eric wants to make sure that I'm getting a job, whether it's a developer or whether it's a CEO. Let us see. I don't want these emails. I don't want the CEO position now. What all I want is I want to move all the mails received from Eric to some other folder. How can I do that? Let me go back to our email action group and use this action called process email message. What is the email message to process? We have already read the emails and we have current email item. This is the one which we need to process. We will be processing it one by one only. And what is the operation we need to do? We have multiple options. Either we can delete this email, or we can mark this email as unread, or we can move the message to some other folder, or we can mark the email message as unread and then move it to another folder. We are just going to move the emails to another folder. To which folder I want to move? If you go to my Gmail account, I created one label called Eric, and this is the folder or the label to where I want to move. Let me go to the flow and simply say I want to move it to Eric. Once again, we need to configure your IMAP, your username and password. Our IMAP is imap.gmail.com. Our port is 993. We are leaving it. The username is 𝗪𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗏@gmail.com and the password is app password which we have just created. And I press save. Rest of the things are same. Let us just look at our Gmail inbox. Inside that Eric, there is nothing. And in the inbox, we see a lot of emails from Eric. Now, let me run this flow. Depending upon the number of emails, the flow running may take more time. Our flow run is completed and it took 2.5 minutes to complete this in the development mode. Suppose if you are running it as a flow directly without the development mode, the time it takes may be much lesser. So if you notice, no email is there in my inbox from Eric. Everything has been moved to a folder called Eric and it is available over here. Okay, now that we are able to read the email and do the processing, you can delete it, you can move it to another folder, or everything can be done. Now, if I want, we have read the email from Gmail. Now, what if I want to send an email from my Gmail account to somebody? Let us see. Let me disable all these actions because we don't need it now. And I am going to create one action called send email as a first action. Then you can configure the send email action. I am going to send it from 𝗪𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗂𝗏@gmail.com. You can give a nickname and I am sending the mail to my official email ID 𝗧𝗏𝗵𝗏@rpasolutions.in. If I want, I can configure the CC, BCC, everything, and I can define a subject is from automation, and I says hi. This email is sent from a pad flow by Kenley, and I can leave it as a plain text. And now we need to configure our SMTP server. The SMTP server for Gmail is nothing else but smtp.gmail.com and the server port is 25 and we can enable SSL. And one thing we need to ensure is SMTP server need authentication. You need to enable. And the username is nothing else but kenleystewart82@gmail.com and of course the password is our app password and you press save. Now if I run this flow, it has sent the email, and if I open my email inbox, so I got the message from Kenley. So it says the email is sent from a pad flow by Kenley. I hope we have covered most of the things related to how to read and send the emails using the Gmail, and the similar thing is for any other IMAP based emails. You just need to ensure how to get your IMAP server details and your email password. With this, you can configure it. And if you like this particular video, please feel free to subscribe to this channel and like the video and provide your comments, be it a comment or a question or a suggestion or anything. These things are going to help me a lot in creating more and more content similar to this. Thank you. In the next video, we will see the next challenge. Until then, bye bye.